What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Frozen Road Podcast. I am John Hunter. This is Danny the Pitchman Hart. Danny, what is up, and welcome back.
Hey, what's up, brother? It's been too long, obviously. A lot going on between us, but glad to be back, and let's make this consistent from here on out.
It really has, and I feel like that's where I want to start is where we've been. You know what I mean? It's been a little bit. I don't know who really gives a fuck where we've been, but if people who do care, I just want to, we'll dive into that a little bit there. We'll dive into that a little bit, where we've been, what we've been doing, and so we'll start there. So where I've been, I like Danny, but we both just recently had babies within the last 8 months. So adjusting to all that bullshit, not bullshit, but adjusting to all that has been a lot. It's a lot of adjustment. So you're trying to figure out, you're pretty much your new life. We're like, Danny already had a baby, so he already had a kid. So he now is adjusting to with two children. So
I mean, it's a lot. You gotta navigate life through your wife, make sure everything's cool especially when you have a fresh whole little baby around. You gotta, that's priority. So I mean, also we're both like union workers, so I mean we have our schedules all over the place. It's tough to mix and match that, and it's just a busy time for both of us. And definitely. On top of it, especially you with your coaching job, like that's tough too. That takes a lot of time. So work straight from work to that to coach, and then that's a lot, man.
Definitely. I mean, it was, and this season was a lot. There was a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things that happened during the season and during my baseball season that it ended up, it really took a lot of time and coming home, and there was a lot of it just that not only am I home away from work all day, I then go to baseball from what would be 4 to like 7:30 at night, 7:30, and then I come home. I have my son, I have my wife, so I have to take care. I have to be attentive to that. So there's just a lot. It was just a lot. It was a lot there was a lot going on. So it was fitting this in was not as easy as it was last year. But moving forward, we plan on, next year when everything starts up again, baseball and all, when that starts up again, I'm going to definitely find a way to make sure that weekly this still gets out. Yeah. This is not going
to a Sunday night or something that works around the schedule.
The hiatus isn't going to be nearly as long as it just was. So it's good to be back. It's good to be having the headphones on, and we're going to get down to it. We have a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of baseball news that we're not going to obviously be able to cover everything at once. So we're kind of just going to do like a quick, what do you want to call it? Like kind of like a recap of what's been going on. We'll talk about the two managers that were fired this year. One, I mean, I feel like neither. I think one, we living here in Philly, we kind of all wanted.
Absolutely,
we really pushed. The other one was kind of like a strange one. I don't think anyone was really expecting that. Maybe people in LA or Anaheim or California, whatever the hell you want to call them right now. I think they're probably taken a little bit by surprise by that, but we'll talk. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, the first official thing I want to do is the standings. We're going to catch everybody up on the standings. What's going on? Who's where? What's happening? I'm sure if you watch baseball, you know what's going on. So you might not need to hear this, but if you haven't really been catching up, you pretty much if you get your baseball news from this, then we'll give you a little recap on what's going on. So right now, the New York Yankees are in first place in the AL East. The Minnesota Twins are in first place in the American League Central. The Houston Astros are in first place in the American League West. The New York Mets are in first place in the National League East. The St. Louis Cardinals are in first place in the National League Central, and the San Diego Padres right now are a half game up on the Dodgers in first place in the National League West. Wild card, Toronto, Tampa Bay, Cleveland. Right now, Boston's a half game out because they lost yesterday. That's today. They lost today.
Yeah.
Then the wild card for the National League, Dodgers, Atlanta, San Fran. And the team looking on the outside right now is the Milwaukee Brewers in the National League. So, little thing that me and you talked about prior to this is what we wanted to do is we wanted to talk about which team do we see? Which teams do we see staying? Who do we see jumping up? And pretty much where we see the rest of the season going with these teams. So, Dan, I'll let you start off. The American League East, do you see any changes there? Do you think there will be a change at the top? Do you think there will be a change anywhere in that right where we're at right there?
I mean, I feel like, unfortunately, for a Red Sox fan and a baseball fan outside of the Yankees community, they're a well-oiled machine right now. I mean, they have the best pitching staff in baseball, the best scoring the most runs in baseball, like 30 games above 500 already, which is ridiculous. They have like, what is that, 130 plus score differential.
131 run differential.
It's ridiculous. Like they're firing on all cylinders. I don't think that they can sustain that per se, but I mean they got a huge head start on a division that's going to beat themselves up. Like it's tough. Blue Jays, Rays, Red Sox, like they play against each other a ton. They're all good teams. So I mean it's going to be hard for any of them to dominate to catch the Yankees.
For sure. And I definitely agree with that. I mean, right now, the Yankees have a 10-game lead on a team that's 11 games over 500 in the Toronto Blue Jays. That's a huge gap. Like, and it's just crazy that, and they've won 7 straight. So that's also
they're not slowing down.
They're not. Yeah. They're not like, and people can say what they want. Listen, I'm a Red Sox fan, so I fucking hate the Yankees.
Absolutely.
We can say what we want. We can say we want about the little kid right field, the what do they call it? The Little League World Series field that they have in right field.
Yep.
You can say what you want about it, but the matter of the fact that what it comes down to is they're still doing what they have to do.
Yeah.
And
the other teams they play against play there too. So
yeah. I mean, so it's not like they're the only team that's playing in that yard. Their pitching's been great.
Yeah.
I saw. Did you see the thing where Jared Carabas mentioned that right now Garrett Cole has the lowest ERA in the Yankees pitching staff in their starting rotation? Yeah, his ERA is still like 3.3. So it's not like it's like he's got like a crazy 4 ERA or just absolutely getting smashed. The dude's
it's ridiculous. Like Taillon's been unreal. Good. Cortez has been unreal. Severino has been great. Like their pitching staff's
been good.
Yeah, exactly. Like bullpen is really good. Like they're just whatever you can do well, they are doing well. Unfortunately, outside of the Yankees community, but we did talk about it in the beginning of the season. We figured a couple teams from that division probably going to make the playoffs, and that's what it seems to be happening. Because I mean, the Red Sox, they're smashing the ball too. Like their offensive numbers are crazy. They just can't pitch for shit. Their bullpen's the worst bullpen in baseball. Like it's a shame. Like they're all on par offensively, but they're just. I mean,
it's just one exactly. It's just one of the. It's like it's weird. It's like you don't like I would listen. The Red Sox being in the playoffs is what I want. I would love to see them in the playoffs. Their biggest issue, like you just mentioned, was the bullpen. It's
the AL Phillies from last year, pretty much. It's just exactly the same thing.
They've tried different things. Now they're going with Tanner Houck as they're going to try him as closer. Like there's a lot of things that they need to do. I mean, Chris Sale's coming back. There's rumors that he could even take over as the possible closer.
Yeah,
he could possibly. You don't want to rush him in.
No.
Yeah, don't rush him in. You don't want him getting hurt. You know what I mean? So that's a huge thing. If you can find a way to keep him healthy throughout the year and put him in a good spot. Exactly. You don't want. You don't. I mean, look what happened in the World Series when they won in 2018. He ended up closing it. They said fuck Kimbrel and they put him in and had him close it, which is. I mean, I don't think that he would be a bad option. He closed in the beginning of his career. He could definitely do it now. So it's something that I definitely think is a good possibility for them. I mean, then you have the Tampa Bay Rays, all the stuff that they were doing with the whole, yes, Brendan Sale is still alive. But they, there's a lot of things with that when it comes to like the Tampa Bay Rays. The Tampa Bay Rays had that issue recently where they didn't want to wear the rainbow flag on their hats. Some of them didn't.
Religious reasons.
A lot of religious reasons there. I mean, hey, to each their own. I don't really care how you feel about certain. I mean, I care, but like I don't really. That's your prerogative. You can do what you want.
Yeah.
But something tells me that whole situation is going to, that's going to blow up the whole season. People are going to be pretty much rooting against the Rays now for the rest of the season because and it's going to be a fuck the Rays for here on out because of that.
I mean, there has to be a few people in the organization that didn't like that. Like, there has to be a couple of people in the clubhouse that are like, "Come on, guys! Like, what are you doing?" Like,
definitely. I mean, I think a couple of players, I think one or two players wore them. I don't remember who it was, but I remember seeing a picture with the Pride hat on. Someone had it on. So, hey, I mean,
there's definitely cause for some divide in that situation. I mean, that never bodes well, really. So
definitely not.
But even back to the Red Sox, they're 4 games over 500 and they're in 4th place. Like, that's
they're 13 and a half games out. Like, it's not like they're just like.
It's a slaughterhouse, that division.
It's exactly. And like with some teams, at this point, usually you're 4 games over 500, you're probably sitting like, I'm sitting pretty good.
Yeah.
Right now, thank God for that third wild card, because there's a lot of teams that, in any other division would probably be having a really, really good time right now in the American who are in the American League East. But instead, you have this, like I said, the second place Toronto Blue Jays are 10 games out and they're 11 games over 500, and they're right now looking that far away from first place.
The Blue Jays and the Orioles are the same distance as the Blue Jays and the Yankees are from each other. It's crazy.
How crazy is that? Like, it's
first place, wild. Second place almost last place. Not the Orioles been playing better than people expected. Good for them, but no chance, obviously, in that division whatsoever.
Not at all. All right, so we'll move on. We'll move on to the American League Central. And we'll talk about the team that's at top right now. A team that I said,
yes, you did,
was the team that I saw as a big underdog this year that I think will rise up and do something. Big thing that they need to do is make sure I think they need to shore up some things pitching wise in order for them to continue this, because you have a Cleveland team that's right on their ass right now. They're only 2 games out.
Yep.
Then you still have a team like Chicago White Sox where I think
they're still dangerous.
They're still very dangerous, and it's one of those things where I really truly believe could be a Phillies effect.
Yes. Are you going to get that
thing was to happen?
Boost that locker room a little bit.
And I think truthfully,
maybe a meteorite comes and Big Bang Part 2 happens and get rid of the dinosaurs.
Or the best thing they could do is just get him drunk, and he'll definitely drive home. So that's maybe rip off a DUI if you could. That's who knows? I mean, that's something that could possibly happen. We've seen a couple times with Tony La Russa.
Drink responsibly.
He is. Yeah. He would be hopping in his car right now, sitting with that in the center console. He's but like that's one of those things where I really like that's a team that was supposed to be dangerous. They were supposed to be the best team, one of the best teams in baseball. And right now they're sitting a game under 500, but they're still only 5 games out.
Yeah. They're very much right
only
there.
5 games out. So it's not like they're that far, which is even wilder that they're a game under 500.
Yeah, and way closer than the 11 over.
And the 11 over and the 11 over Toronto Blue Jays are 10 games out. Like that's I remember a couple years ago, and it's funny that we're talking about the White Sox. I remember Ozzie Guillen was so mad they missed the playoffs, and I think it might have been 2006. Was it 2006 they missed the playoffs? And it was the year the Cardinals won the World Series, and they only had 83 wins or something like that. I think it was so it was 2006. Yeah. And they only had 83 wins. Like they weren't they weren't blowing the doors off players. I think they were only literally 2 games over 500. And they made the playoffs, or 3 games over, and they made the playoffs. And people were like, and I remember Ozzie Guillen freaking out that they are in the playoffs, and his White Sox at the time were definitely better than that.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is bullshit. He's like, how does this work? He's like, how does that work? That they're in the playoffs and we're so much better than them.
I mean, that's how every sport works. You have to have division, so it's going to be
it's going to be mayhem.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to have half the league make the play. It's just it's like the NFL with the Giants. Both times they won the Super Bowl, they sucked. When they snuck in 8-8, won Super Bowl. That's just how sports work. I mean, you have to have divisions. You have to have teams miss out on the playoffs, unfortunately. But what other way are you going to do it? That's the only way to make it fair.
Exactly. And once you hit the postseason, anything can happen at that point. Everyone's 0-0 once you hit the postseason. So the whole new season starts. So you can't even sit there and complain about record. They got in because the record was sufficed enough to get them there. Now it's time to play. And I think you're going to. I think we've talked about this, about how that final wild card team very well could be an 83, 84 win team. It might not have to be, a crazy like big winning percentage or a shit ton of wins to get you where you need to be. And it just is what it is. And they could very well, that third wildcard team very well could walk themselves in the World Series. We've seen wildcard teams win the World Series many times in baseball.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's definitely possible. All right, let's move on to the American League West. The American League West has Houston in front of it by 9 games. This was a division that was kind of at one time, we were looking at the Angels as a really, really good team in the beginning of the season. Like, it was pretty crazy. What were they, like 8 games over 500 at one point? And they were
and then they decided to lose
doing
for
great
2 full weeks straight of baseball.
They just didn't win baseball games for 2 weeks. And now they're 5 games under 500. They're 10 games out in third place. They're actually behind the Texas Rangers. With their $500 million payroll that they have, and they're 3 games under 500 with a $500 million payroll. Like, it's crazy. But this is me and you talked about this again in the beginning of the season. We talked about the Houston Astros. Until someone's able to beat them, it was hard to not say that they were going to win this division again.
Yep.
Of course, everyone would love the Angels to make the playoffs because they want to see Mike Trout make the playoffs.
Yes.
And then, like my cousin's just commented on the side, like the Angels just lost Rendon for the year again. Another big blow to Rendon. Terrible signing at this point.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's one of those signings that I'm sure a lot of teams, like especially Washington Nationals, who were sitting here thinking like, well, we could have just blew a shit ton of money on him, but instead now we have a shit ton of money to spend on Juan Soto, who is going to waste his career here because it doesn't seem like they want to do anything. But we'll get to them later. But right now, Houston is just, I think they are a team that I just look at and I'm like, I don't see them even remotely looking back. They're just going to run away with this division.
Yeah. They're too deep. I mean,
they are.
Verlander being Verlander again. That's fucking huge for them.
It's crazy.
4 years, $150 million left. Ugh.
That hurts. That just. So listen, I got before we even came on, one of my buddies texted me and just said, can we please talk about how horrible JT Realmuto is? I didn't want to get into that, but if you want to talk about a bad contract, it's not the worst contract in baseball. That right there might be the worst contract in baseball.
Hey, and look at Patrick Corbin.
Rendon far and away. Patrick Corbin's is brutal, but I mean, at least Patrick Corbin actually goes out there. He might suck when he does, but he at least goes out there. Rendon's been barely on the field the last 2 years, 3 years.
True.
So that has been brutal. That is a horrible contract. Absolutely horrible contract right now. But yeah, Houston, in my opinion, that's a wrap. That whole division's a wrap. I don't see any team in that division. Everyone was piping up Seattle before the season started. You kind of saw the writing on the wall there. The team wasn't the team was good. They were solid last year, but I feel like a guy like Robbie Ray was almost destined to have a fucking down year. He's been down for a while. Had a real good year last year.
I didn't even like him last year. Talk about this all the time, dude. Fucking stinks.
I remember when I used to play like FanDuel and DraftKings. Like I used to just anytime you saw Robbie Ray on the schedule, it was stack central.
Yeah, load up against them.
Stack against them. The dude was going to just absolutely get obliterated. It was horrible.
I'm glad he's back to sucking. I didn't like him being good last year for some reason. Nothing personal at all. Just one of those guys I just don't like for his pants. I like that we got a Logan O'Hoppe comment.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm happy that he's
what a ball player he is.
Absolutely. But again, another guy that we will be talking about in the near future for sure.
He just snuck onto the top 100.
Love it. Just
today.
And another team that I feel bad for, and we talked about in the beginning of the year with our good friend Dallas Braden. And we probably will talk again next week with another friend who we won't name yet, but we will name at the end of the episode, who will be
player to be named later.
Player to be named later from a former Oakland Athletic himself. They're just miserable at this point. They're extremely miserable at this point, and it's hard to watch. They have a negative 91 run differential. I don't see that changing. They're going to be a bottom feeder. No, they're eventually gonna move on. Dale said it to us pretty much. He put the writing on the wall for us in the beginning of the year. Told us all this. Literally said to us, "I don't really see them staying where they're at." I don't see them staying in Oakland for much longer.
Yeah, how can you
and
when you
it is what it is.
Yeah, you consistently the management just consistently ships off their players. Like they literally were having 2,500 people come to their games. Like at being petty. Like I don't blame them at all. Like that's it's a sad thing to see. Like it's unfortunate. And at this point, what the hell are you supposed to do besides move on?
No, and you can't. It sucks. It would suck being a fan of them, and I can't imagine how it is because it's crazy for all those years that they were able to compete for so long. And I mean, their manager Mark Kotsay was a part of a lot of them competing years, and now look at them. It's just not fun. That can't be fun to be around. It's got to be horrible.
If the ownership gave them the keys to just go spend some money in off season, like you can't tell me that they want to be able to compete when they have done it with bullshit, like no payrolls, and they're still competing. They're pretty much like it's ridiculous that they never gave them a chance to write the checks to give them a chance to actually go win a World Series.
No, and it's not, and this dates back to Billy Bean's Moneyball era, like that whole time. It seems that they're still playing Moneyball, and it's almost 20 some years later that they're still playing Moneyball. Like how is that fair? I think it's actually 20 years later. It's 20. Yeah, that was 2002, right? 2002. Yeah, it was 2002 when that happened. So it's just it's a disgrace of a franchise. It really is. Like us here in Philly, you hear a lot of people talking about how the Phillies are poverty level. They don't know shit about poverty level. The Athletics, Tampa, they're at poverty level, but like Daniel Bakley just said, at least the Tampa Bay Rays know how to continuously recoup and be able to actually contend every year.
They evaluate. They do a hell of a job. Like
absolutely,
their player development system is ridiculous. It's second to none.
They don't need to sit there all day and sign big contracts. They'll sign their contracts. Look, they did with Wander Franco. They made sure that they signed him quick, and they're going to have him
beautiful team friendly deal.
Absolutely, and it's something that eventually he's going to be an MVP one year. I know it is. I've been saying it for the last 2 years that I see this dude as a top player in the league, and eventually it's going to happen. He showed flashes in the beginning of the year. It's kind of slowed down, but they have a lot of players.
Yeah, it's inevitable. He'll be back. Yeah, he's going to be a ridiculous player, especially because I got a lot of rookie cards. So
he better be.
We're hoping.
All right, let's move on to the National League. So we'll start with the National League East. So the National League East right now, the Mets are in first place by 5 games over Atlanta and by 8 games of the Philadelphia Phillies. I'm not going to mention the other ones because Miami's is 12 games. Washington Nationals are 20 games out. Neither team do I really see competing. It's really a top-heavy. Them 3 teams in the division are probably the real deal. Do you see, as a Phillies fan, be objective about this? You don't sit here and really look at this and think about this. Will the Mets be in first place by the first game of the postseason? Will they have won the division?
No, fuck the Mets. There it is. Not objective. I'm not biased at all.
No, so it's not biased. What do you see? Do you see them? Do you see them winning this division?
I feel like the Braves are doing the same thing they did last year, and they just got hot at the right time. Like, I hope that the trade deadline thing don't happen again for them, where they just load up where they need to and take off. Like they still haven't lost, right? They're 14 games straight.
They lost today.
Oh yeah, they lost. All right. Thank you. Well, there you go. But I mean, the Phillies are on fire.
Game to game.
Yeah, for real. There was 14-game period. Phillies were 12-2 and lost in the standings to the Braves. That's fucking ridiculous. Crazy. Like in their own division. It's so unfortunate. But no, I mean, the Mets, they get Scherzer and DeGrom back. If DeGrom ever comes back, I mean, they're gonna be tough, but I mean, a lot like Alonso, like they got injuries to deal with. But the fact that both teams, the Braves and Phillies, are coming at them the way they are, I feel like either one of them is going to catch them by the end of the year. I don't think the Mets will win the division.
All right, it's bold.
Fuck the Mets.
I know this is one of those things that people always say, and like I kind of like some people get annoyed about it.
Ryan Reese, Mets are going to Met, of course.
My guy. People get annoyed by it when they talk about the Mets. Or it's or just in general with teams, when players are hurt for a long period of time and they get a player back mid-season, that classic thing is, well, they don't even really have to make trades. They're about to get 2 great players that are in house, and they really are. I mean, they're getting 2 of the in all of baseball. They're getting at mid-season right now. They still have a 5-game lead, which after the Braves just won 14 straight.
Yeah. And the Phillies are 13-2, nice 15. It is remarkable that they are at 5 games, but like, what stock are you putting in DeGrom at this point? Like, you can't. I mean, if he comes back healthy, they're going to be fucking tough to catch when they have him going every 5 days. But at the same time, it's like we've been saying that for a couple of years now. Like, if DeGrom's healthy, he's like, but he hasn't been. So I mean, the thing last year, they kept checking his shoulder and couldn't find anything. Now they found a little something, whatever. But it's like, it seems that something, when he ramps up, he gets a couple games in, and then it's just back to the IL. So I mean, until he can show that he's going to be consistent and actually be there for the playoff run, the Mets are going to Met.
Yeah, and this is kind of very similar to the Yankees situation, where everyone always said, listen, if Aaron Judge stays healthy,
Stanton's healthy.
Stanton's healthy? Who knows what this team's going to do?
No, they finally are.
And it's just then now they're healthy, and look what's happening. So nothing catastrophic. Would you thought them losing Scherzer and losing DeGrom could have been a catastrophic thing that happened and really absolutely crushed them? It didn't really crush them.
They're still.
Yeah. They're still and they have a 63. They have a plus 63 run differential right now. So offensively, they're still doing what they have to do. Mm-hmm. Their pitching's
we even talked about
Diaz has been incredible this year.
I mean,
it was out of Vino.
When Diaz figures shit out, like, his stuff is ridiculous. I mean, but we talked about in the beginning of the year, like, they were signing more starting pitching. We're like, all right, well, this team has obviously, like, acknowledged the fact that their rotation does have injury or DeGrom pretty much, but like, they have depth for a reason, and it's shown to be a great offseason that we've talked about a couple times. Like, they went out and did what they had to do, and it's shown. Unfortunately,
I mean, getting guys like, Chris Bassett was huge for them. That was a huge signing.
A really consistent, decent pitcher.
They got Adam Ottavino, who has been incredible for him. He was with Boston last year. He's now doing what he should do. Was he with Boston last year, or was it the year before? I think it was last year. He was with Boston. I think it was last year.
Pretty sure it was last year.
Pause.
We're pausing for station identification on the buzz.
Yeah, he was with the Red Sox last year. I couldn't think if it was 2020 and 2021, or was it just 2020? But it ended up being just 2021. He was with the Red Sox. But yeah, he was sitting with them last year. So, and he showed flashes last year. He wasn't what he is right now. Right now, he's one of the. It's ridiculous. If you look at his have you looked at his Savant page?
No, I have not. But he's back to Yankees bullshit. Like, Yankees when he was the best. Like, Rockies.
It's just nothing but red.
Just nasty. His stuff is disgusting.
I've never seen a Savant page other than like Juan Soto's last year.
Yeah.
It was just all. It looked like I mentioned this before about it. It looked like a creative player that I made in the show. Like, I just put all of his stats all the way up. Like, that's what it looked. Everything's 99. Like, it's ridiculous.
Like, a player you can't even make in, like, my player mode because it only lets you go up a certain amount now.
Yeah, and exactly, and that's what he is right now. That's what he's been.
You can't even create an Ottavino.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, now let's move on to a division that we kind of saw being tough in the beginning of the year. We looked at this division and we both said it could go either way.
Yeah.
The National League Central. So it's very top heavy. There's 2 teams, and it could go between either team, and I think both teams are very well probably going to make the playoffs. I don't think it's really. I think they're probably. I mean, I think they could. I don't know, because there is I keep forgetting the 3 wild cards, and then you have the American. They have the National League Central. I mean, the National League West that has 3 teams that can make it as well.
It'll be 3 of them, 2 NL East. Like, it could be.
So you know what? Scratch what I just said. It's going to be a National League Central. National League Central team is just going to win the division, or they're out. So it's gonna be a bloodbath between the two of them, and it's the St. Louis Cardinals and the Milwaukee Brewers. So right now, St. Louis leads by 2 games, and it's pretty much because Milwaukee was in first for a while, and then they kind of just shit the bed too. They
were really cold, yeah.
I mean, you're getting bad starts by Corbin Burns.
Weren't scoring any runs. Freddie Peralta killed them this year so far.
Yeah, I mean, then we have Woodruff, who's been hurt.
Yeah, Peralta's out for a while.
Peralta's out for a while.
Then he's hurt.
Corbin Burns hasn't looked anything like Corbin Burns from last year. Yeah. So that's definitely been difficult to watch.
Their bullpen's still really good, but they have to get to the bullpen, and they haven't scored a lot of runs. Like their offense isn't. I mean, they didn't score runs last year either. So
and it's crazy because with some of their players, you would think they could do something.
Yeah. Like, I mean, Adames hurt for a little bit. That doesn't help.
Yeah, Christian Yelich still isn't back to. He shows flashes for like a couple days, and then he goes right back to his bullshit. And then, I mean, you have a guy like Lorenzo Cain, who used to be one of the best hitters in baseball.
He's just washed up at this point.
He just mentioned. I just saw a report on him with The Athletic where he mentioned retirement at the end of the year. Like he just doesn't think he has it anymore. He doesn't. He's pretty much not having fun anymore.
Like McCutchen.
You have McCutchen who's probably retiring at the end of this year. Like maybe if it's not this year, it's coming soon. Mm-hmm. Like you might see him throw himself on a playoff contender next year, even this year, depending on where they're at.
Yeah,
who knows what they're gonna do there. But as of right now, I don't know. Milwaukee was another team that people. I know one person who put them as a possible World Series champion, definitely a national champion. That's Trevor Plouffe. Trevor Plouffe was guy who stole my bit last year. We're not going to talk about that. Fucking creep.
Love to have him on the show if he's listening.
Would love to have him on the show. Love to talk about how he was able to tap into my mind. It was pretty incredible.
He obviously watched your episode.
Had to have watched it. He had to have watched it. The only thing that explains how that happened. Because not only did we'll get that for 2 seconds. He not only did he steal just the World Series, he went games and all. And I said it a month before he did. So it was complete. It was a complete screw job. Is what it was.
Sabotage.
And he got all the glory for it, which is complete bullshit. But I'm not bitter at all.
But back to the Brewers. Like when Rowdy Tellez is your best hitter with a 773 OPS, like it's just not. That doesn't bode well to make the playoffs.
No,
like that's not enough productivity. If you're what was supposed to be phenomenal starting rotation has some issues, which it has. So I mean, they're still right there. So I mean, a couple good weeks of baseball and they're right. They could easily take the division lead.
Yeah, how crazy is it that for our entire lives, the St. Louis Cardinals have just been a contender?
They've just been good.
Every year. They are very similar, except for they're not poverty level, to the Tampa Bay Rays when it comes to their developmental and the way they just grow their own talent.
And they just get a bunch of players that are okay, and then 3 years into their careers, like, oh shit, this dude's really good. Like, when did that happen? Like, like Tommy Edman.
Nolan Gorman this year.
Gorman's been crushing.
It's absurd, and they've been doing all this, and it's been without Jack Flaherty, and he now just came back.
He just came back. 2 days ago or yesterday?
Yeah, he just started. Yeah, so now you're getting your best starting pitcher back.
Yep.
So it's just crazy how good this team continues to be.
Yeah,
and
they're year in and year out. I mean, they just do it the right way. Obviously, they're just a very well organized. I don't want to say organized organization, but you know what I mean.
They just are. They're just a good organization. They know how to continue to win, and I can't hate on them for that.
No.
It's one of those things where it's like they are. I mean, they are the National League Yankees. I mean, they're not nearly as many World Series, but they have the most World Series in the National League. So
they're always there.
And they're always there.
They're always there, just less annoying than the Yankees.
They might have like 1 year where they're like, all right, well, the next greatest player of all time is here, but he's he just needs a year to figure this shit out. Like they still have now they got Pujols back. They have Wainwright still. They have Pujols back, and they have Yadi and Molina.
Yeah, Yadi.
They've had them for forever now. Like it's just
like I remember. Like they've been in baseball.
It's just they just have that core back.
You got Goldschmidt and Arenado in the corners, and then just just really good players up the middle.
This feels, we're mid-season here now, but doesn't this feel like a St. Louis Cardinals World Series year?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It does.
It just feels like a Cardinals World Series year, that they're just going to sneak up on everybody.
Yeah,
they're going to win the World Series.
Have a really good playoffs for no reason.
And Yadier is just going to ride off into the sunset.
Screaming. Yeah, he's going to be screaming.
Will do the same. They'll just ride off in the sunset. Wainwright might even do the same there after that.
Yeah. I mean, Wainwright closes Game 6 of the World Series.
It's just it's almost like written in the stars for them. Is it too late to just say that I think the Cardinals are going to win the World Series? Like right now, to say it now, but they're just going to win the World Series. Like I just feel like it's their year. But yeah, I mean that's the National League Central. It's pretty much just a two-team race.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the National League West, which there's 3 teams there that could legitimately also be a World Series team.
Yeah.
San Diego Padres right now sit at first place by a half game over the Los Angeles Dodgers. They're 4.5 off of San Francisco. They have 11-game lead on the Arizona Diamondbacks, and they have a 13.5 game lead on the Colorado Rockies. Obviously, like I mentioned in the National League East, I don't see them bottom teams. I also don't see, like how I did in the Central, I don't see them bottom 3 teams. I don't see the final those 2 teams even being possible to do anything. They're probably going to be teams that you're going to see contenders pick their best players off of. They're going to be in that camp. I'm not sure what the best players in Colorado are, but you're going to see guys be plucked from
CJ Crone probably going somewhere.
Yeah, you're going to see Arizona. You're going to see
hopefully Chuck Nasty gets out of there.
Yeah.
Get Charlie Blackmon on a contender, please.
Yeah, and
if he fucking goes to the Yankees and has to shave his beard and cut his hair, he might as well retire.
It's like when Johnny Damon did it.
It's so bad for people.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Stupid. Fucking Yankees.
Yeah, very stupid. Very, very stupid. But yeah, it's a 3-team race. It's like I said, the Dodgers, Padres, and San Fran. Do you see that changing? Who do you see winning that division?
I mean, it's lazy, but I really just think the Dodgers are going to win that division. I think. I
don't think that's lazy.
This
is what it is.
Too deep too deep and like Bueller hasn't been that great this year, and they're still 16 games over 500. Like they just have a ton of pieces. Like their lineup is ridiculous. I think they're just going to figure it out, and like they have a plus 111 run differential. So I mean, they're a dominant team. They just happen to be a half game out right now. But I think that definitely changes.
And the crazy thing is San Diego, they're sitting in first place in that division right now. They've been playing without Fernando Tatis all season.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's going to be a little bit longer. Reports came out that he still isn't really able to swing a baseball bat. So right now they pretty much just shut him down again, where it's going to be a little bit longer. If we're probably really being realistic, it's probably more August.
Yeah,
that we might see him.
You would think. And
you would think more August.
They should be in no rush whatsoever to get him back right now. They're playing really good baseball. Like why?
Yeah.
I mean, at least they pretty much look like a lock for a wild card at this point. So you don't want to bring back your franchise player, get it into a little bit of a rhythm, and then maybe have a setback, and then that mess up your chemistry of your team. Like there's no point.
Yeah. Definitely don't want that.
Keep rocking and rolling.
I mean, it's a very, very tight division, and I mean the Giants are still the Giants. The bad bitch is absolutely doing work out there in San Fran.
Yes,
other than getting bitch slapped,
yeah,
he's doing things. I mean, we haven't even been on since that happened. So the whole Tommy Pham smacking
fantasy football.
Did you see the Giants where all the players were wearing the rules with all the rules on it? I like it. Like that stuff it's stuff like that is good. Like teams need. I feel like every time there's a team that has something, they're always the team that rises in the playoffs. They do something, like everyone gets behind it.
Locker room chemistry goes such a long way.
Huge, dude.
It's so I don't know. People don't think about it enough at all. How good chemistry can just carry a team into a good month of baseball, which can easily put you in the playoffs.
It very well might be the most underrated thing.
Absolutely.
It really honestly might be.
That's what all the on paper, teams on paper, the best teams rarely ever win because they don't have that aspect of team sports. And
Yeah.
Like it goes such a long way.
Like that's the big thing with the whatchamacallit, the Phillies right now.
Yeah.
A big thing that I like about what the Phillies are doing is now after each win, they give a toast. I think that's great.
Yeah,
and it's something that I think it's something that I feel like NBC Sportsnet is not taking full advantage of right now.
Yeah, they should be building that as the thing. Like
there should be a camera.
Thing.
There should be a camera in there after every single win, videoing these toasts.
Yeah, they just show Rob Thompson sitting in his little office, and then you just hear the locker room going crazy.
I want to know why they're going crazy. That like last year with the Boston Red Sox when they held the whole dancing on my own thing. Like that was huge. Like on Fox after they beat the Yankees, the aerial view of the whole team singing "Dancing on My Own." Like that's what the shit that you need to win.
As like as corny as it is, like when
it's so dumb, but like
when it brings you when you all want to play for each other and hold each other accountable, and you want to be better for the dude next to you. Like that's what I mean. That goes beyond teams on paper. Like
team chemistry is a huge thing. It is a huge thing that doesn't get talked about enough. Now my wife's watching from upstairs.
She agrees.
But
good points.
Yeah, always. But yeah, that's all the divisions. I mean, do you see any movement really in that? Do you see in that division? What'd you say? The Dodgers?
Yeah, I think the Dodgers
win that. I think St. Louis wins. Then like I said, the St. Louis Cardinals are probably going to win the World Series this year, just off of weird year, and it just is what it is.
Yeah.
The Brewers, so I see them winning that.
Outside of the Brewers bullpen, I mean, they don't really have. The rotation hasn't been. You're doing great. You're doing great, Johnny.
Doing great, sweetie.
I don't like that.
She's probably upstairs cracking up. Like she thinks she's like the funniest person in the world.
Hope she's putting things in your work boots that you step into on Monday. Old nasty eggs.
Like tacks.
No, that'll hurt really bad. I stepped on my wife's.
Sinister.
I stepped on my wife's earring and it went all the way in my foot, and that was terrible. So I don't wish that. Yeah.
Was it sabotage? Did she do that to you?
Just a messy room, but happens. But Phillies are about to go down, so that's not cool. Second, got it out. All right, well.
Did you see that bases? They had bases loaded earlier, but no.
And they start striking out, looking like crazy.
It's unbelievable.
Can I help you? Nah, just looking.
All right, now I want to talk about the managers that were fired. Me and you can talk pretty closely about the one. But we'll start with the other one. The Angels fired Joe Madden, leaving Phil Nevin in charge to be the new interim manager for the time being. Where do you head? I'm kind of like, it's weird. Like, again, I'm not out in LA. I don't know anything about how they feel about it, what's been going on in the clubhouse, anything like that. But I kind of feel like Joe shouldn't have maybe been fired. I'm just not like, I'm not a big fan of firing him for like, yes, they lost 13.
What did they lose? What did they lose until they fired him? Was it like what at what point? It was like 11, 12? Because I know Nevin lost like a couple afterwards too. But I feel like, I don't know. I feel like the Angels, they wanted to make a same thing as the Phillies did. They wanted to make a message to the team, send a message to the team, and they just happened to, I guess, not get it right because they still stink. Like it was the complete opposite of the Phillies situation, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I'm not out there either. But I mean, I don't see why Joe Madden was let go. Trout was terrible. Unless it had something to do with Trout. I mean, he had a rough. What?
So they were on a 12 game. They were on a 12 game when he lost his job.
And then lost 2 more or something?
And then they lost 2 more.
Yeah.
But like Joe's still a good manager.
Yeah.
Did he do weird shit when he walked the bases loaded? I mean, who did he walk with? Who did he walk with the bases loaded? And he said he was just trying to fire up the boys. Like it was like such a weird. And the camera,
Turner, I think.
Was it?
It was someone to get the Max Muncy.
And then no, that was Tony La Russa.
Oh yeah. Never mind.
Tony La Russa just did that. He was a fucking moron.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him. We'll talk about him during this too.
Bunch of morons we're talking
Joe
about.
Madden, he walked someone with the bases loaded. Like literally gave a run up.
I can't think of who the fuck it was.
I can't think of who it was, but anyway, he did it. He said to fire up the boys. The saddest thing that I ever heard, though, through all this, is he went to the barber.
Corey Seager.
Corey Seager.
Yeah.
Okay. So he went to the barber the night before he got fired, and got a mohawk again to fire up the boys.
He got fired before they'd seen it.
The team never saw the mohawk. The dude was just walking around. He probably felt like such a moron. He probably wore a hat the rest of the day.
Hilarious. He walked in and like, listen, that didn't fire the boys up. This is going. I'm like, get the fuck out, dude.
He's like, I
love the way you write lineup cards. Your calligraphy is second to none, but you got to get the fuck out. You don't got to go home. Now get the fuck up out of here.
Get the fuck out. I mean, you have this stupid fucking mohawk. Like I just can't imagine.
You're 63 years old.
Yeah, you're way too old for the mohawk, pal. Like I remember when he was with the Rays, like they used to do like these weird suits.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That was like the thing.
He was a strange guy. He is a strange guy, but he's kind of built for the LA lifestyle.
Yeah,
very interesting. He's just an out there guy. You never really know what the fuck's going to happen with him. But I do think that he's a great manager. A lot of people have been saying possibly Philly now that they fired their manager. I'm not really for that. I don't think they need a 63-year-old to come in. I would prefer a younger manager.
You got to let Rob Thompson ride this year out.
We'll see how this goes.
Have a legit dive deep and figure out what you want to do as an organization for the offseason.
Yeah.
Go get one of them, the young guys that you've been definitely. Like Kai Cray, that's your boy.
That's my guy.
Get him on the squad.
Even though he refuses to answer my text messages.
Well,
it's a super creepy way. I found it.
I want to answer you either.
I probably won't answer me either, but it's super creepy. But either way, he answered me one time and then stopped.
Yeah, and you just said all he said was stop. Probably.
What am I? No, he said. I said, "Is this Kai Cray?" He texted me back.
Yeah,
and said, "Yes."
Yeah, unfortunately, that's leave me alone.
And then it just stopped being. It just started being really. It started being really you.
That's why he doesn't want to sign with the fucking Phillies, dude. He knows you live here.
Yeah, I think I really fucked this one up.
He knows you're watching from the 37th floor of a building somewhere.
That's completely different. That was that whole situation with the Phillies. No, it doesn't all tie in. They were complete pieces of shit for not following me. We had Matt Breen who said they should have done it. True. It was I was hanging off the side of a building just snapping pics at Citizens Bank Park.
You don't think Kai Cray,
like King Kong,
senior your messages was like, who is this guy? Does he what is this podcast about? And then he went on your Twitter and to think you're like, hey Phillies, I'm up here on the 37th floor, follow me back. You don't think Kai Cray was like, all right, get me out of I don't want to even look at the city, let alone fucking get on a plane there.
See, now I don't see it as that. I saw it as me. I saw it as just, it was fun.
Friendly banner, yeah.
Friendly banner. Unfortunately, I was the only one talking. they were talking. It wasn't really banner because I was the only one
there
saying anything.
Back and forth.
There was no back and forth. The one time the Phillies answered me, they pretty much told me to fuck off.
Yeah,
which was fucking hysterical. That was one of my favorite. That was probably one of my favorite things ever when they just said nah. I think they literally just said nah.
Yeah, nah or no, one of those.
It was super unprofessional on their part, but also hysterical. We had, and I asked them if we could do like a thing, hey, if so and so homers tonight, can I get followed? It was a straight fuck off. Is really what it was. They didn't care who homered. They didn't care. It just wasn't happening.
Hate to see it.
I hate to see it too, but it is what it is. I'm just over it at this point. And if they do, they do. I did get followed by the Colorado Rockies.
Colorado Rockies.
They are my Colorado Rockies, the good friends over there in Colorado.
Big fans of the show.
Yeah, huge fans of the show. So Joe Girardi was fired as well. That didn't come as much as a surprise, probably for me and you.
Well overdue.
I mean, probably for the city, even really. I mean, he just started really fucking up. So
the team was just obviously not bought into him whatsoever either.
Nah.
Like you can defend him as a manager all you want, but like we just talked about 10 minutes ago, the team chemistry aspect of the game was completely non-existent in the Phillies clubhouse, and it had a lot to do with their manager. They didn't buy in. They didn't believe in him. They didn't want to play for him. So
yeah,
he had to go.
There's two things that really stuck out to me after he was fired that kind of made me realize like this is 100% the best decision for the team. I remember the night that they fired him. Kyle Schwarber was a post game. He was getting interviewed by McCarthy and or not McCarthy, Ricky Patalco and Michael Barkan and Barkan, and they asked him about everything. His exact words were, we did what we had to do, but it's a shame for Joe. We wish him the best of luck, but we moved on already.
Yeah.
In my mind, it was just kind of like, all right, you're just saying
they've been waiting to move on. Like they've been
this has been
ready to fucking move on.
Yeah. Exactly. Then, they were ready.
It was the same thing with Castellanos. Exactly. With the you got to play young players. You got to trust young players. Dombrowski let me play in Detroit when I wasn't that good, and I became a better player. Like, I mean, they've all seen the problems, and luckily, the fucking Joe Girardi's gone, and obviously the team has been much better without him.
I don't really think I don't think it was like a big surprise that that Joe was fired.
Definitely
but
not here.
Then you're hearing like random, obviously after people get fired, you always hear more and more stuff about inner clubhouse stuff. And the one thing that one of the reports I heard was before like post games, he would get dumbbells and like pump to like make himself look big.
It's not a bad idea, Joe. I might start doing that for the podcast.
I should probably start doing that myself and just sit here like this, like. Yeah. But either way, it just kind of like it just went to show who Joe was there for.
Yeah, fucking himself.
It was the Joe show. It was the Joe show.
Like his post game answers were always terrible. He would always be like, "Oh, it's baseball, It is what it is. It happens." Like, come on, dude. Like, you gotta have your players, and then he never fucking had his players back on the field either.
No. Like, then you have young players. I mean, Moniak struggled after he left too, so it wasn't like it was his fault. But like, he allowed young players to struggle, and he has. I mean, Bryson Stott, he did not allow him to struggle at all. He struck out.
Camargo, he was good.
Camargo, you're starting tomorrow.
Yeah,
exactly. You can't have that. There had to have been more than what there was. And,
it's be growing pains. They have to,
and there wasn't any.
There's a big difference between AA and AAA and major leagues, and you got to let these dudes adjust. You can't just expect them to be great in 30 plate appearances, and if they don't contribute, they're benched. Like that. That's not how it works.
I agree. Definitely.
And it's not. I mean, and you just can like Torres last year, Camargo this year. Like, it's not like there's much better options. You're just plugging in these dudes, and you have no expectations for them. So if Camargo has a big double, then the whole fan base loves him because they don't expect anything from him. So it's all a bonus. Yeah, you just gotta let the young guys play, like Castellanos said.
And I mean, you when your top star is also screaming for it. I mean, I don't think that it's like like you had Harper saying like you have a guy like Stott who is used to playing every day. You can't just not play him for 3 days in a row, throw him into a game and expect him to just get right back into it and be able to.
What they did to Moniak last year.
It's exactly what they did to Moniak last year, and it delayed him.
Yeah, big time.
All right, the next thing, we're just keep moving here. The next thing I want to talk about, I want to do our All-Star ballots. So the All-Star game is coming up.
Damn, we're almost at an hour already. Nice.
Yeah. So the All-Star game is coming up in July, and they just open up the ballots so you can start voting. Go on there, go to MLB.com, go vote. It's a free plug right there for MLB.com. Motherfuckers. But go on there, do your vote. Everything, all that type of fun stuff. But we both did our ballots, correct?
Yeah.
So, American League first baseman. Who do you got?
Ty France.
I, too, have Ty France. Ty France is absolutely killing it right now for Seattle. He's been the most consistent player on that team right now. I mean, some could say Julio Rodriguez. Ty France has been absolutely insane.
France has been really good all season. I remember when he was coming up and he was playing. I forget what minor league league it is that the offensive numbers are always inflated. I don't know what league it is, but for some reason that league, I'm not even sure what level it is, but their numbers are always inflated in that league. And he was batting like 399, or he was batting like 405 or something. And at the end of the season,
dude.
His last game, I think he went like 1 for 5, and it took him from 401 to 399 to end the year. And I remember them talking. I'm like, "There's no way this can like transfer to the major leagues." I was like, "This dude, like, he doesn't have crazy power. He's not fast. He's not big. Like, dude can just fucking hit."
But right now, dude, his numbers are pretty crazy. I mean, he's batting 317 with a 394 on base percentage and a 486 slug. That's an 880 OPS. He's got 10 home runs. He's got 12 doubles, and he's got a 161 weighted runs created plus. Like he's absolutely crushing the baseball right now, and it's a shame that Seattle's been as bad as they have because guys like Ty France, they're a young team. They are young, but like you want to see like a guy like Ty France. Who knows if he'll be on this team? How long he'll be on this team?
Yeah,
and it's because of shit like that. He's 27 years old right now. He's a first baseman, and he's just a first baseman.
Second. I mean, he could play all the positions,
but like he's mainly a first baseman DH.
Yeah.
And now that the National League is DH, I mean, I'm not saying he's going to get traded, but like he could be somebody who Seattle looks at and goes, "Here's a piece that we can, possibly bring some people in for."
He's older than the rest of their like prospects that are coming up.
Core.
Yeah, exactly. So he could be moved while the pot's hot. He's probably going to be an all-star this year. He might very well could be their representative. I mean, he kind of has to be at this point.
I agree.
Make it regardless.
All right, now for second base for the American League. Who'd you got?
Who you got?
I have Jose Altuve.
Okay, I've Jose Altuve and Jimenez. I both put him.
Okay, so you did too?
No, but I was going to I didn't know. I thought you were going to take one of them too.
So it was between the two of them. It was, and I went back and forth. I ended up settling with Jose Altuve. Altuve's having another great year again.
Yeah, I mean, if it makes you feel better, I do have Jimenez first, then Altuve second.
That's fine. He's batting. He's got 12 home runs, batting 274 with 346 on base percentage with a 521 slug. He's got a 152 WRC plus. He has 11 doubles right now, and he has an 867 OPS right now. Like he's hitting the baseball very well. I mean, second base is a position that we're starting to see power pretty much at every position, but it's fun to see guys like Altuve who are tiny and they're absolutely beasts, absolute beasts. They're smashing baseballs. It's great to see, and you can say what you want about the whole trash can bullshit and all that stuff. It seems to me that Altuve was definitely not one of the ones fucking doing it because he's still a great fucking hitter. It does not matter what he hears, trash can, anything.
I mean, that's the thing.
One guy you probably should be looking at is Alex Bregman.
Yeah,
but that's neither here nor there, I guess. But moving on, I guess. Who'd you say? Jimenez? You had Jimenez?
Jimenez, yes.
Okay. So third base. So surprise here. I have Rafael Devers.
Yeah. I took Jose Ramirez because you're.
And listen, and I respect that. I respect Jose Ramirez, and he's the best player. He's right.
I have Devers. How the fuck? Where Devers written down? I said nope. Fuck Devers. Crossed it out. Jose Ramirez.
But listen, I understand. And Devers obviously is going to be probably reserved because Jose Ramirez deserves to be it. I gave Devers my vote.
40 extra base hits already. Like that's 62 RBIs at 1040 something.
Is that Jose Ramirez? Ramirez? Yeah, he's a stud. He's crazy. It's a shame. It's a shame that he's actually going to. I mean, not that Cleveland's bad because Cleveland's still winning. But I mean, I don't know. Are they ever going to be a World Series contender again? I mean, I love Terry Francona, but are they ever going to be at that position at that level again? I don't know.
Not without a payroll adjustment. Not without ownership giving them more to use.
But did
you see Jose Ramirez's K rate is ridiculous?
Yeah,
he has 19 strikeouts this year.
Yeah,
19.
I think his K. What is his K rate? I think his walk rate. Is his walk rate higher than his K rate?
Yeah,
or is it just? I think it's like just around it. It's pretty fucking crazy.
7.4%.
Yeah, it's stupid.
What?
But
it's fucking stupid.
My guy, My guy, Rafael Devers. He's got 16 home runs right now. He's batting .329 with a .378 OBP and a .612 slugging percentage. That is a .990 OPS right now. And he has just been absolutely ridiculous. He's got a 177 weighted runs created plus. He is absolutely tearing the cover off the baseball right now. If there's anybody who would start over Jose Ramirez, it's Rafael Devers.
The only two options.
The only two options in the American League. By far.
His 990 OPS is 58 points lower than Jose Ramirez's 1048 OPS.
Isn't that wild?
Crazy.
That's wild. Nuts. I only voted for Ramirez. You know why I voted for Devers.
Absolutely. That's why
it was the only biased thing I had in that entire.
Cross him the fuck out.
Yeah, that's the only. He was the only bias I had in the entire thing because I noticed that I was also going to vote for somebody else at shortstop and not Xander Bogaerts. So that's why I say I'm going to go with Devers. I'll give Devers this, even though probably I should have just went Bogaerts over the guy I picked.
That's why they're opinions.
Yeah. So I voted for Tim Anderson.
Okay. I took Bogaerts.
And that's good. See, it offsets. It offsets. So Bogaerts at least one of them get a vote there from you.
Yeah. I wish Pena didn't get hurt. I mean, it's a shame, but he's fucking right there too.
I agree. I mean, you have Tim Anderson, who's got. I mean, right now he's got 5 home runs. He's not exactly hitting for crazy power, but he's got a 356, 393, 503 slash line. That's an 896 OPS. Sorry, my dog's like freaking out back. I think he's killing another dog out back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's a possum in my yard the other day. I didn't even know they were over here.
Dude, my dog attacked a possum last year, and it was the craziest thing. It was like at like 1 o'clock in the morning. He started crying to go outside.
4:30 a.m.
Dude, open the door. He ran right for it.
My girl's little brother and his girlfriend just moved in, and they brought their dog. And my girl wakes me up like I'm sleeping. I gotta wake up for work at like 5:15. I just hear her screaming downstairs. Her name's Paisley. She's like, Paisley is outside with an animal. I don't know what it is. I'm like, what? There's a fucking bear in my yard. And I walk out.
Absurd.
A possum. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I go over it. It's like,
dude, he went up.
Yeah, it was like this wide open. It didn't make sense to me.
It's crazy. He went up, like pretty much like suckered it.
Give you a 1-2.
And the fucking thing, you heard it like squeal. It runs. It goes up on the fence and just laying there dead, hanging over it. Or it was playing possum. Either one.
That's what this one was.
He's a fucking savage.
He was fucking hissing. I didn't know possums made noise. I thought they just lay there.
They're complete psychopaths.
And there's no way their head should open this big.
Their jaw. Yeah.
That's nightmare fuel, dude.
Yeah, I don't fuck with that. But anyway, getting back to the All-Star ballots. So I'll just do my 3 outfitters in a row. Byron Buxton, Aaron Judge, Mike Trout.
All right. Well, I had also all 3 of those.
You had all 3?
Yeah. I had Tyler Ward. I had Slash across all of them. Tyler Ward on there. But yeah, they're my 3. I mean, they're the top 3 in home runs. Like they've just been fucking. All 3 of them are just mashing the ball. Buxton missed a couple games, but I mean, so did Trout. Yeah. But I mean, how do you deny it? I mean, they're the best 3 outfielders. They're the 3 outfielders people want to see. Like they're everything you need in the All-Star game.
Definitely. Catcher, I went Alejandro Kirk.
So did I. Again, fucking his numbers are crazy this season, dude. His WRC plus is outrageous.
Yeah, stupid.
He's built like a fucking trash can, but whatever.
He's an absolute animal.
He is.
And if you look at his savant's absolutely insane as well.
I'm assuming it's all red and then super small for sprint speed.
Yeah, that's his only downfall is sprint speed. And then I went with for DH for the American League. I went with
mine,
not my Dan, your Dan, Alvarez.
Also went there.
Yordan Alvarez is an absolute animal. He's the best hitter in baseball. He might be one of the. You've said it for a while now. He might be the most underrated hitter in baseball.
Still is.
But I think he's finally starting to get.
Yeah, he is. I think he was that underrated because he played for the Astros, even though he had no part of it, no part of the trash can bullshit.
Yeah,
it's just he's tainted for that team, and I feel like people are starting to overcome that and just recognize that he's just fucking ridiculous.
For sure.
Like he is. Right. Like you said, he's the new Big Papi, pretty much.
Definitely.
He's David Ortiz light.
Absolutely.
Or 2.0 at this point. He's fucking.
It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter what hand is thrown to him. No. He's able to figure it out. Now for the National League, Paul Goldschmidt at first base.
Did you pick a pitcher or no?
I didn't pick a pitcher. I didn't think you could. I think pitchers just voted on.
Yeah, I was just.
I think the teams. I think the players vote for them.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were just going to throw it. Like who do you want to start the game? I did pick
American League. I'm going Nestor Cortez.
I'm going my Cy Young preseason pick, Shane McClanahan.
That's fine. I'm cool with that. I went. As Jim Cott called him for some weird reason, Nestor the molester. Did you see that? That was the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life.
But that's not something you should say.
He's a moron. Like Cott's a moron.
Yeah, some people just got to hang it up at this point.
Yeah.
The molester is a wild one to throw out on national team.
He calls a player a molester. Like
he does have a fucking mustache like that, though.
I guess he has he drives a white van with no windows type of look, but don't call him that. Like stupid. But so just went to the National League. First base, I went with Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah. All the people saying fucking Pete Alonso beat it, dude. He's not even close to Goldschmidt at this point. And he's hurt. So fuck him.
No. Second base, Jazz Chisholm.
I wanted to go Jazz Chisholm. I went Tommy Edman.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Cool with that.
Great player.
Jazz Chisholm, see, now the thing with Jazz Chisholm is after the Phillies just played him and watching him, I now see why his team hates him. I see why his team hates him.
Well, yeah. His fucking
completely understand it.
Everything around first base, second base, third base, and then Euro steps.
The dude is just
fadeaways.
He might be one of the more insufferable players I've ever watched, but I like him still.
I love watching him. I like
watching him play.
Yeah, like John Kruk was furious when he hit that home run and started doing all that shit.
Yeah,
he's like, wait, did he shoot a jump shot? And then I forget what he did third base, but then he Euro stepped, and John Kruk was like, I guess he's a big basketball fan.
Oh yeah, it's brutal. So third base, I went Manny Machado.
You can't not pick Manny Machado.
I think he's the best. He might actually be the MVP right now.
Yeah, it's him and Goldschmidt. I mean, but the thing about Goldschmidt is he has Arenado and Tommy Edman. Like they're all up there in fucking war. Like Machado's doing a lot of this shit, carrying the team. So I mean,
definitely in a tough division.
Yeah.
Shortstop, I went Dansby Swanson.
I went Trey Turner, and their numbers are ridiculously similar.
Yeah, and I threw Dansby the bone. I feel like he deserved it.
I picked Trey Turner when MVP. And fucking
I didn't.
You got no bones. Fresh out
brutal. So for my outfielders, I went Ronald Acuna, Mookie Betts, and the bad bitch Jock Peterson.
Dude, come on, man. I got the same exact thing. I didn't think you were pick Acuna. Definitely not.
Oh,
and then Acuna. Jock only has like 170 fucking plate appearances. I didn't think you were going to pick him.
But I think he's like second in home runs in baseball.
Hey, he's mashing.
So he deserves it. And he's playing in the Bay Area.
I mean, I do it. I have all three of them. Literally.
And he just ate a bitch slap from Tommy Pham. So
he's a bad bitch who gets slapped, dude. It happens.
I love it. Big
all
fan.
All the baddest bitches get slapped once in a while. So can't do nothing about it. It comes with the territory.
Absolutely.
Harper DH.
Forgot about catcher.
Wow. Yeah, that's at the top. I would put that at the top all the time.
Wilson Contreras.
Yeah, same. And it's a shame that fucking his little brother doesn't get more time behind the plate
because it would have been very close.
Yeah, like he's having a great year too, but fucking
there was a point where I almost said no to Jock Peterson because I think his brother's an outfielder as well, isn't he?
Yeah, they put him.
They put him as the outfielder for the All-Star vote for the voting.
Yeah,
I got very close to voting for him.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I came close to Yaz. Who else in the NL fucking outfielders? Dude, the outfielders are pretty awful this season.
Yeah, it's not a strong bunch.
It's crazy.
I mean, you got to think Ronald Acuna has barely even played. He just started coming back,
and we both have him on the list.
And everyone's voting for him because it's how bad the outfield is. Juan Soto's been brutal, so you really can't even. Yeah, it's not even one of those things that people are really voting for him.
Another
is ridiculous, but
another 2 weeks of June Schwarber, and he might fucking sneak his way in there. I mean,
very well could.
He's not going to get the votes, fan votes, probably, but
no, he'll get the Philly votes.
Yeah,
he'll get the Philly fan vote, but other than that, he won't get anything else. And DH
Harper,
Bryce Harper, he's the best hitter in baseball right now, in my opinion. I think he's just an absolute fucking beast.
Just consistent since.
Yeah, doesn't matter what's going on with him. I mean, he's doing it with a torn. What is it called? UCL.
Yeah,
he's doing it with a torn UCL. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Ligament, it's called.
You nailed it.
Where the fuck it is.
Yeah, but yeah, that's our all-stars. That's the whole all-star voting. Pretty easy, pretty simple. I mean, it seems like we both are on the same page with literally the entire thing,
especially the NL.
Yeah, definitely.
Besides, I mean, we got all 6 outfielders, both DHs. We picked the same. I mean, what the fuck, dude? Like, it's the most deserving players. Obviously, there's
this year's very cut and dry. I feel like everything's been really easy to.
I thought the NL outfield was hard, and we wound up picking the same fucking 3 people.
I thought that might have been easier than. I mean, the American League I thought was really easy too. The American League outfield was super easy.
Yeah, the three of the best players, 3 of the players you want in the fucking home run derby, all-star game, whatever you want. You want Judge, Trout, and Buxton to be involved.
Definitely.
So.
All right.
I did have Joe Musgrove pitching, if that counts. Definitely. I had Alcantara, but Alcantara, whatever.
Joe's been great.
Yeah, he's been ridiculous. Averaging 6.2 innings per start, and Alcantara's averaging 7, which is crazy. But I mean, you can go either way. You can go Wheeler too. He's been ridiculous since his.
I think he honestly might be the National League starter.
At this point, if you can get value for him to win Cy Young right now, it's like a layup because I mean it's kind of wide open. I mean, not really, I guess, but with the way Wheeler's pitching, he's gonna definitely pitch himself into Cy Young favoritism soon. Like he's right there. He's been on fire since his first couple. It's a shame that he had that arm fatigue in the beginning of the season, or he would be front running big time. Definitely,
I agree. So the show's about to be over, but we do have one more thing to talk about. And it's for next week. We have a big guest coming on. It's probably just as big as the one we had back in January when we had Dallas Braden on. He's actually the reason why we have this guy on. Next week we will have former Major League All-Star. I mean, not All-Star. Former Major League baseball player. Former World Series champion for the Boston Red Sox.
Definitely a fan favorite everywhere he was.
Everywhere he goes. He used to play for the Rays, Reds, Nationals, Athletics, Red Sox, Braves, and the Royals. He also played in Japan. We have Johnny Gomes coming on next week. Can't wait. That's going to be a huge episode. It's going to be a lot of fun talking to him. He's been doing a lot of stuff. He's going to be doing a home run derby.
Yeah, that thing
the Red Sox. He's going to be going to Japan. It's going to be pretty fucking cool to see all that. And he's going to come on here. He's going to talk about it. I've been talking to him since January. It's been a long time coming for us to actually have him on. And, we finally were able to nail down a time. And he wanted to come on before he actually went to Japan, which was really cool. And but yeah, it should be pretty awesome. And we can talk about his time in Japan because he actually played against Shohei Ohtani when he was young over there. He won the World Series in 2013, which is my favorite Boston Red Sox team. So I get to talk to him about that season, the whole Boston bombing situation that was going on while he was on the team. Like they really behind them. So it's gonna be really, really cool. So tune in next week for that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And but yeah, that's Dan. Do you have anything else to talk about after that?
I mean, yeah, I feel like I'm going to get beard shamed during that episode because I just trimmed my beard yesterday, so it's going to be tough to compete with you guys. I might have to come on with a disguise. We'll see.
But I think he's going to be a lot of fun to talk to because
absolutely
he's very similar to Dallas, where he's very loose and he's a good morale guy. He was a big morale guy everywhere he went, and
it's part of that team chemistry, dude.
And not even just morale. He also performed everywhere he went too. He wasn't just some guy who was a big rah he had 162 home runs in the big leagues. He
crossed lefties.
Yeah, he was a big, and he was a huge part of that World Series team in 13.
Yeah.
He also was a big part of, I think he was a part of that Royals team that went to the World Series as well, if I'm not mistaken. So he's been in 2 World Series. He's battled. So it's going to be a lot of fun talking to him next week. Hopefully everyone is ready for that. Should be a lot of fun. But other than that, I don't have anything else to talk about. I mean, get ready for next week.
Absolutely. Let's get it.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the likes, the comments. Share this. Go on Twitter. Follow me at Johnny F Baseball. Follow Danny at dhart3592. Go on to Apple Podcast. Go on to Spotify. Go on there. Follow us. Get us going. You know, watch it. Listen to every episode. Watch the episodes on YouTube. Go on YouTube. Watch it on Facebook, and on my personal Twitter. But that's all we have. Thank you for listening. We are out.